Hey there, what's up internet? My name is BlackLightAttack. I am full of feels, and this is episode 22 of Let's Play Final Fantasy VII. So, before we continue, you see I'm on my load file screen here, because I want to show you guys how we get to switch to disc 2. Also, if you happen to miss the last episode, which was episode 31, I do want to say there's a huge spoiler that I'm going to start talking about, so you should probably go back and watch that in case you just accidentally skipped an episode. I know that happens sometimes, so I always like these. There's a cover art for, I believe, each character in the game. I think there's 9 total, 1 for each character in the game for the insert disc 2 stuff. So if you're playing on PlayStation 3 like I am, you just hit your home button, go to switch discs, and then hit disc 2, yada yada, and then it'll swap it over. So back in the day, you actually had to physically switch your discs, and it was kind of cool because if you were in the middle of a long play session, I usually would save and quit whenever it was time for me to switch a disc, but in the event that that I wasn't, then it was kind of cool because you could just pop open your system in the middle of the game being played and just swap out the disc. I always thought, I don't know, it was so weird back in the day. You never opened up your system while it was running back in the day. So Sephiroth, which way did he go? And then Cloud's gonna have another freak out moment, and he actually sees a vision of Sephiroth walking this way. So yeah, so last episode, Cloud, get a hold of yourself. Sephiroth said to me, head north, past the snowfields. So we are currently on the chase for Sephiroth, and it's kind of interesting just to see how the progression of, like, at least Cloud's involvement in the whole saving the planet thing kind of went. At first, he was saving the planet in terms of just, you know, committing these acts of bioterrorism, or eco-terrorism rather, not bioterrorism, eco-terrorism. Just to keep the planet alive, but he was only doing it for money. And then just sort of through those adventures, he ends up rediscovering Sephiroth and getting kind of wrapped up in a quest for revenge instead. And then not only that, but Sephiroth just added to the list of things he needs to avenge in that he just killed his almost girlfriend, Aerith, and then he, on top of that, needs to stop Sephiroth from destroying the world. So basically, Sephiroth is going around pissing a whole lot of people off. Nobody's really happy with him right now. And during the Genova life fight, well, actually, let's just go over what happened. Sephiroth just dropped in and killed Aerith, and when I was a kid, I actually knew that was coming because I had the strategy guide. And I read ahead, because when I wasn't playing, when my parents were like, hey, it's time to go to bed, and I wasn't allowed to keep playing anymore, I would read ahead in the strategy guide, because I just wanted to know what happened. And I found out ahead of time, and I was so mad that I spoiled it for myself. Even back then, when I was a kid, and kind of didn't care as much about spoilers, even then I was still mad at myself for having spoiled it. And, man, this was a huge memorable part back in the day. This is what everybody remembered this game for, was the killing off of a main character. This wasn't, I mean, Aerith wasn't just some random ass character, you know? She was actually part of the team and everything, and you actually played as her. It wasn't just like, you know, them killing off Sung. By the way, Sung's not actually dead. You're kind of left to assume either he gets rescued by Shinra or he bleeds out in the Temple of the Ancients and gets crushed, but he actually does make it out. He doesn't really play any more parts in the story, really, but they do mention him, that he's still alive. I'm trying to remember how to get to that one fucking chest that's over there. It's bothering me. So Aerith was killed. Now, there's kind of like some controversy as to like how it was handled. Not a lot of people really care that Aerith died because somebody even mentioned it, and this is something I've heard before. Somebody even mentioned in the comment section of the last video, who really cares that Aerith died, because Cloud wasn't even all that really invested into the relationship. He basically just met her. I always found that in the sense that maybe he gets a little romantic about it. You know, he gives that whole speech where he's like, my eyes are burning, you know, my fingers are tingling, my eyes are burning, my hands are shaking. He's sort of describing what he's going through physically at the time because he's so affected by this. And maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but what we do know is that even if Cloud... First off, you gotta keep in mind, in this game you have a choice as to whether or not you want to romance Aerith. Aerith is just a potential romance partner. after this game was over, and you know, they started doing like the sequels and stuff. Damn it, fucking stupid shell thing. After this game was over and they started doing the sequels and all that, they sort of just said like, you know, it's canon that Cloud went for Aerith. This was actually, she was actually his first choice. Tifa was his second. Oh, a new weapon for Sid. Very nice, very nice. But in the game, you can choose. You can choose whether or not you want to go for Aerith, and it's especially, he still gives the same speech even if you don't go for Aerith, and it's very not convincing at that point. You really don't feel like Cloud is all that invested in her emotionally, because, you know, the dialogue options, if you want to treat her poorly, are actually kind of dickish. She's kind of a dick to her. And I always felt that kind of detracted from that scene, that Cloud would get very weepy and upset when, up until that point, if you decided as such, he would have been just treating her like shit himself. So I always think that scene has more of an impact on the story if you choose to romance Aerith. But you have to realize that even if you do choose Aerith, it's only a burgeoning romance. It's only the beginning of a relationship. They're not really boyfriend-girlfriend. They don't really, you know, they've had no chance to even bang or anything. They're not really, they don't know each other all that much. There is definitely an attraction there, and you definitely get this, like the scene that we had on the gondola in, oh, these guys are funny. If you, I think they're actually just called Hungry, and they'll cast Mini on you, and if they succeed, they can then eat. Only if you're Mini, though. It doesn't work if you're not Mini, as they just cast it on Tifa. The scene with the gondola, you know, Aerith is kind of describing how she wants to get to know Cloud better. She wants to know the real you, you being Cloud. And, God, Tifa, you deal no damage when you're not in critical HP, do you? And, that was just something that was cut tragically short. They never really got the opportunity to explore their romance. Now, why is Cloud so upset? The fact is, actually, everybody's upset, because Aerith, at this point in the game, she's a comrade. We've been through a lot together. She got kidnapped. We saved her ass. She saved Barrett's daughter from being killed in Sector 7. Aerith did a lot for us, and we did a lot for her. It's somebody, she's a friend at the very least, if not a romantic partner. And having her killed is just, it's never a good thing. Like, if you have a friend and you've been through some shit together, even if you haven't been friends for very long, if you've been through some shit together, if they die, you're gonna be pretty upset about it. I think that maybe the romance didn't really get enough of a chance to blossom for Cloud to be reacting the way he did. They may have sort of oversold that point in the story, but personally, I'm okay with it. I do definitely believe everybody. I mean, if you notice, Tifa actually ran off crying, and Tifa kind of butted heads with Aerith a few times. But she was still a comrade in arms. She still fought alongside us. She saved Marlene, you know, who Tifa's very attached to. Tifa's almost, even though her and Barrett are not romantically involved in the least, Tifa sort of is an adoptive mother to Marlene, almost, as you find out in later. You really don't talk about Marlene much after this point in the game. Barrett mentions her a few times, but Tifa doesn't. But you kind of find out later in like Advent Children, the video sequel to this game, and then like On the Way to a Smile, which was the series of novellas. Tifa sort of acts as a surrogate mother to her, which is you know, so obviously she feels some sort of debt to Marlene, or I'm sorry, to Aerith for saving Marlene. And she ran off crying when she died. I mean, she was her rival for Cloud, in a sense, because Tifa is definitely interested in Cloud, and we'll sort of expand on their relationship later, as we will see. Actually, if you have Yuffie in your party, she's like bawling her eyes out. There's no sound, there's no voice acting, but she's like visibly bawling her eyes out. She's like uncontrollably crying. Yuffie has like the saddest reaction. Red 13, actually, he has the shortest animation out of all of them, but it's still kind of special. He kind of like walks right past her, and then he just sits down and howls, which is sort of his way of expressing grief. It's just it's kind of interesting. They programmed in all these unique reactions. Every character has their own reaction to Aerith dying. So this was a very, very famous scene back in the day. Now I do want to address something that bothers the shit out of me, and I knew somebody was gonna say this, and unfortunately I couldn't do anything to preemptively nip this in the bud, because I didn't have time to say anything before it went up, because I just left the commentary go. But there's a fan theory that goes around, and this fucking drives me up a wall, but there's a fan theory that's been around forever that Cloud is actually the one that killed Aerith. Not in some plot twisty, like, oh, it was Cloud disguised as Sephiroth, hallucination fucking kind of thing. It's not one of those. The theory is that, as we saw, Sephiroth killed Aerith by piercing her through the spine, through the back, and it came out her stomach. And people like to argue, because apparently everybody who played this game is a fucking doctor, saying that obviously Aerith survived that, but because her spinal cord was severed by Sephiroth's sword, she was paralyzed and couldn't tell anybody she was still alive. And then when they go for the sort of burial at lake, Cloud drops her into the water and she just kind of gets swallowed up by the depths. The fan theory is that she actually drowned at that point, and that if anybody had stopped to bother to check her pulse or anything, then obviously they would have realized, oh crap, she's still alive, maybe let's not drop her into the water and get her some medical attention, and they might have been able to save her life, rather. I just saw the seal material and I said seal her life. Bullshit on that. Number one, first off, it's a fan theory. You can't really argue in a fantasy game, in a fucking Final Fantasy game, things like medical logic. It just doesn't work. If the game told you that she died, she died. You kind of have to just take that word. You just kind of have to suspend your disbelief, whether you're a fucking doctor or not, and just say, okay, well, they decided she's dead, so she's dead. I really need to stop using comment on Red 13. I love the animation for this, but it's 70 MP. That's so much. I gotta keep casting White Wind to keep this mini off me so I don't get anything. Comment does a fuckload of damage too. So another a big argument against that I have against that fan theory is that the person who killed her is Sephiroth, the strongest soldier who ever lived. If he wanted her dead, she's dead. Sephiroth we've already know he killed probably hundreds of people in Nibelheim. Now, maybe in the game, Nibelheim is represented by a scant few NPCs, but chances are if it's a town, you know, obviously in an RPG, you can't really say that what you see is necessarily what's supposed to be the reality of the situation. I find that RPGs are often, you know, things are represented by proxy. So we see only a few houses, but really we can assume Nibelheim is a small town, but it's got to be a town of at least, what, 2,000? At the very... Think of a small town in real life. It's still going to be a decent amount of people. Sephiroth slaughtered literally everybody in that town. He has killed thousands of innocents by himself, not to mention monster after monster, and he was a huge war hero. We never saw him in action in war, but the whole Wutai War, he probably killed thousands there, too. Sephiroth has killed thousands and thousands of people. He was bred in a lab to kill. Sephiroth kills when Sephiroth means to kill. If he wants you dead, you're fucking dead, sweetheart. So, anyway, a couple people seem to back that up by saying, okay, well, if he's such a master, maybe he purposely disabled Aerith and then made Cloud kill her, manipulated Cloud into killing her himself, so that it would fuck with him even more. But as we're going to see, we haven't quite seen it yet, but as we continue through the game, we're going to see that Sephiroth loves to fuck with Cloud. He loves to get into his head, so maybe that might lend some credence to that theory. The thing is Sephiroth is also a very show-offy villain. He loves to state his plans. He loves to revel in the misery of others. The thing is, he never says to Cloud, yo, you offed your girlfriend. Throughout the entire game, maybe that's a spoiler saying that's something Sephiroth doesn't say, but he never comes out and says that, yo, I made you kill your girlfriend. If he made Cloud do that, he would have been fucking in his face about it later in the game. He would have been like, yeah, I fucked your girlfriend in the ass and then you killed her, bitch. It was all your fault. He would try to use it to drive Cloud insane. He never does that. So, Aerith was dead. Let's just put it that way. Aerith was dead. You're going to have to suspend your disbelief a little bit and understand that the people who made this game are not medical geniuses. I would say if they were ever to redo this game, I wouldn't be surprised if they recreated that CGI cutscene to make her get pierced through the heart so that they could put this stupid fucking debate to bed. I'm just saying, If the game said she was dead and they never address it again, then she was really dead. Grandpa, wake the fuck up. We have a customer. I like how that's actually, she actually said, "Grandpa, wake up," and I was almost exactly on, almost exactly right on with that line. I just was wrong about the whole wake the fuck up thing. She didn't say wake the fuck up. She came close though. So let's see, the masked axe is actually worse than what we have for Sin. I think the Viper halberd that we just picked up is pretty solid. So yeah, I guess there's no actual armor in here. No armor up in here, just a bunch of weapons. Some pretty solid weapons though. So the Power Soul for Tifa we can use to good effect right now. But I actually think I'm going to switch out Tifa. I think I'm going to head out back to the world map in just a second, switch her back out. And so the Work Glove does have a higher attack, but the Dragon Claw actually has a shitload of materia slots, so I'm going to keep that on her for now. You know, the whole Power Soul strategy is great and all, but I don't like to use it until later in the game. With the next version, which is the Master Fist, which is just a bit stronger, and it's a bit easier to activate and get some good damage on. So do we get anything for red? No, we still got the Seraph Comb, which is actually interesting thing about the Seraph Comb. That's kind of deposited in your inventory after the scene with Seto, his father, without telling you it deposits it. There's no text box saying item received, Seraph Comb. It just sort of gives it to you and never really addresses it. So let's actually take off the Bolt Armlet. Let's take off the Aurora Armlet. So now that we actually have all the characters that we have available to us now, I can tell you, this is the final lineup of characters. These 8. No more people are gonna die. I hate to break it to you. We're not gonna pick up any more characters either. It's just these final 8. So now that we're down to this, I wanted to ask you guys, who do you want me to use? Because we're starting to get towards the later phase of the game now that we've started Disc 2, and we have to start thinking about who we want to be our final party. And that's kind of an interesting thing to think about, because you can either approach it from like a min-max setting, like, oh, the characters with the best limit breaks are these guys, or like the best fucking base stats are these guys, and it's just, none of it really actually matters, but it's still fun to think about, I think. So the one thing I want, we have to have Cloud. Cloud is the main character, so he's always in your party. I forgot to take off their accessories. He's in the main party always, for the most part, but he's definitely going to be by the end of the game. I actually want to take Tifa along because it's been a long time since I've done a run through with Tifa. I never used to run with her when I was a kid. I think I always used to do like Vincent and Red. They were like my favorite characters when I was a kid. And we have to have Cloud, and I want to take Tifa along. So the third character is up for debate. And one of the main reasons I want to take Tifa along is because of her awesome weapons that she can use to just deal a shitload of damage. And just think her mechanics are really cool, like the Master Fist and stuff. So I did want to ask you guys what final third character you want to see me bring along. So your options here are going to be Kate Sith. Actually, I should go buy Kate Sith's weapon because that thing's pretty good. Okay, Dragoon Lance is still bad. Actually, I think the Dragoon Lance lasts us a while. I think we picked up in Wutai. So your options are going to be, let's see, Barret. We already have Tifa, Red 13. I wish I was looking at the list. Yuffie, Vincent. Did I say Kate Sith? And Sid. That should be 6. Yeah. So those are your options. Once again, Barret. I'm trying to remember this shit. Barret, Red 13, Yuffie, Vincent, Kate Sith, Sid. Those are your options for the final character. I'll let you guys decide who you want the final party to be, and that should be fun. So here we're gonna look at the map. I see a map on the wall. My goodness, here you basically we're following Sephiroth north. Right now, we know that Sephiroth has the black materia, and we're trying to stop him from using it. We know that Aerith was off by herself trying to stop Sephiroth from using it, and we don't know what her plan was, what she was doing out here by herself. But whatever it was, obviously it didn't work because she's dead. It's nearly impossible to reach the northern limits by the map. If you're thinking about going to the northern limits, you better take that map on the wall. Okay. Actually, if you see I had the option to take the map first. If you talk to that guy and you've taken the map already, he kind of gets pissed at you. He's like, oh, you already took it. Guess you fucking up yourself. And just close that map and to look at it again. Alright, so we got the key item glacier map. So it's all about like what's fan favorite. You know, if you guys love Sid, give me a shout for Sid. I guess I could tell you, like, when it comes to like limit breaks, for example, the best limit breaks are Sid and Barrett. They have the best 2 limit breaks. Barrett's final limit break is actually pretty mediocre, but his he got a level 3 limit break that is really useful called Ungermax. Which way you make me sick? Just let me watch you poop. Open the door. Let's see. Yuffie has a really good level 3 limit break as well, and Yuffie has one of the best she has one of the best ultimate weapons in the game, in my opinion, the Conformer. Each ultimate weapon has a way of boosting its stats. Like Clouds deals more damage the higher, the more HP he has. The more full his HP bar is than the Nah, I don't need an end. The more full his HP bar is, the more damage it does. Barrett deals more damage the more total AP is on his weapon. In the form of linked materia. How do we get to the basement here? There's like a little here's the stairs. Kind of goofy. Yeah, I knew there was an item. Oh, also this is a pretty interesting room, I have to say. This room is an easy way to end up missing some pretty important backstory. So we're gonna get some more story right here. Let's see. So the original Crisis. This is fairly interesting. Ba ba ba. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Not at the camera. Okay, so we got this woman and this dude in a lab coat. So then Ifalna. Ooh, Ifalna, we know, is the name, if anybody remembers, is the name of Aerith's mother. Please tell us about the Cetra. And the Cetras are the ancients, so this is obviously Aerith's mother. 2,000 years ago, our ancestors, the Cetra, heard the cries of the planet. The first ones to discover the planet's wound were the Cetra at the Nose Pole. Tell us, Ifalna, where is this land called the Nose Pole? The Nose Pole refers to this area. Okay. The Cetra then began a planet reading. What is a planet reading? Can't explain it very well, but it's like having a conversation with the planet. It said something fell from the sky, making a large wound. Oh, man. Thousands of Cetra pulled together trying to heal the planet, but due to the severity of the wound, it was only able to heal itself over many years. Do the ancients, or rather the Cetra, have special powers to heal the planet? No, it's not that kind of power. The life force of all living things on this planet becomes the energy. The Cetra tried desperately to cultivate the land so as not to diminish the needed energy. Okay, so they weren't like casting spells on the land to try to heal it. It was more that they were sort of doing their part to basically manipulate the life stream to heading towards this wound on the planet that was caused when something crashed into it like a meteorite. So even here, so close to the North Cave, the snow never melts. Is that because the planet's energy is gathered here to heal its injury? Yes, the energy that was needed to heal the planet withered away the land, then the planet. The planet tried to persuade the Cetra to leave the Nose Pole, but... Ifalna, let's take a break. Apparently things were getting too emotional. Nope, I'm alright. When the Cetra were preparing to part with the land they loved, that's when it appeared. It looked like our dead mothers and our dead brothers, showing us specters of their past. Who is the person that appeared at the North Cave? I think it's supposed to be haven't. I haven't any idea. That's when the one who injured the planet, or the Crisis from the Sky, as we call him, came. Oh my, he first approached as a friend, deceived them, and finally gave them the virus. The Cetra were attacked by the virus and went mad, transforming into monsters. Then, just as he had at the Nose Pole, he approached the other Cetra clans, infecting them with the virus. It's like zombies. You don't look well. Let's call it a day. That's some pretty important lore to the game right there. Something injured the planet. The Cetra gathered for a healing. The planet warned them to get away, but they didn't. And then someone, the one who fell from the sky originally, infected them, took them over, and then spread the virus from Cetra to Cetra. What is weapon? The next one. Oh, another recording. Keep filling with your shit, man. I'm really enjoying it. Ifalna, can you comment on the thing called weapon? Yes, Professor. Those are things you used to hit each other with, in order to kill each other. The one the professor mistook for a Cetra was named Jenova. That is the crisis from the sky. Jenova, as we know, is not only Sephiroth's mother, but this thing, a mutated form of which we have fought twice. Twice now. It was a crisis from the sky. The planet knew it had to destroy the crisis from the sky. You see, as long as Jenova exists, the planet will never be able to fully heal itself. Back then, Weapon was a weapon that planet produced of its own will. A weapon named Weapon. Yes, but there is no record of Weapon ever being used. A small number of the surviving Cetra defeated Jenova and confined it. The planet produced Weapon, but it was no longer necessary to use it. So Weapon no longer exists on this planet? Weapon cannot vanish. It remains asleep somewhere on the planet. Even though Jenova is confined, it could come back to life at some time. The planet has not fully healed itself yet. It is still watching Jenova. Where is Weapon? Fucking, I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't hear the voice of the planet well. Times have changed. The planet is probably watching this situation closely. That makes you cry? He's like, oh, yoy, yoy. This fucking lady. Thank you, Elfana. That will be all for today. Okay, so Planet was produced. We don't know exactly what Weapon is, but Weapon was produced to fight Jenova, but the Cetra managed to defeat Jenova and contain it before the Weapon became necessary. But Weapon could not simply go away, so it went to sleep somewhere on the planet. And Jenova apparently is not of this planet. Jenova is some kind of alien life form, it would seem, if it was the calamity from the skies that crashed on the planet and started just killing people. And then confidential. Daughter's record, 10th day after birth. Oh me, oh my. What are you doing, honey? Oh, I'm thinking of taping it on video, but the video's not working right. What are you going to tape? There's still something, is there still something I haven't mentioned? No, that's not it. I'm going to record my beautiful daughter. And now we find this professor, and now when she's sleeping, her face looks like an angel. First we have to figure out her name. We can take the video later. I've already decided. If it's a girl, then it'll be Aerith. That's that. You are so selfish, but Aerith is a good name. Hee hee, it's a good name considering it came out of that forgetful head of yours. Right? Oh, the videotape. So obviously that was 10th day after birth. I think that might have just been a mistranslation. Or maybe it was like 10 days before birth or whatever. But obviously this professor that she was talking to, that guy's name is Professor Gast, is Aerith's father. And also Ifalna's husband. And then 20th day after birth. They apparently fell in love while he was conducting interviews on behalf of Shinra Inc. We did notice, you may remember Professor Gast's name while Sephiroth was researching in the Shinra mansion basement. He looked up at the sky and said, Professor Gast, why did you die? Why did you leave me all these questions? So Professor Gast had something to do with Sephiroth and Shinra, and now he's conducting interviews with Ifalna, and fell in love with her, and made Aerith. Video game you just got through taping. Please don't say it that way. But our lovely daughter, both yours and mine. Don't you want to capture her childhood on videotape? If you keep doting on her like that, she won't grow up to be strong. And Aerith did grow up strong. Aerith is different from the other children. I wonder what dangers await her. Never say that. I will protect you and Aerith no matter what. You and Aerith are my only treasures. I'll never let you go. I feel so much better now, darling. If I hadn't met you, Yeah, just keep trailing off like that. Aw, now we're going to have an awkward, strange model hug. Who could that? I was just about to... God damn it. Damn! How dare they intrude on our private time together? We were just about to get busy. I'll send them away. Yes, at once. Who the devil? This is an awkward conversation. Uh-oh. It's them! Run away! Hehehe, I've been searching for you, Ifalna. Or should I say Cetra? Ooh, this guy looks familiar. Long time no see, Professor Gast. Hojo, how did you know? Yup, it's fucking Hojo. Believe me, I had to turn over a stone or two to find you. 2 years I waited. That's how much I wanted this new sample. Ha ha ha. Uh-oh. New sample? You don't mean Aerith. My goodness. Aerith. What a nice name. Haha. That's it. I'm severing all ties with the Shinra. Fuck this. Hojo, please leave. Yeah, the guy's got guns pointed at you. I don't know if that's really going to work. Please, Aerith has nothing to do with it. All you want is me, right? I need all of you for my experiment. You understand, don't you, Professor Gast? We can change the future of the planet. I don't really remember how I did Hojo's voice. Don't worry, Ifalna. I'll take care of this. Please don't put up a fight. I don't want any harm to come to my precious sample. Mwah, mwah, mwah. What a funny-looking camera. Guard, destroy it. Pow! and the feed comes out. Be careful with her! Ha ha ha! What are you doing, Professor? Ifana, take Aerith and run! Ah, darling! Oh, and don't forget the child. A video? The Ancient's weapon? Heh, mountain of treasure. Thank you, Professor. That is how Professor Gast died. Very upsetting. Hojo had him murdered in order to recapture Ifana. It would seem we would be led to believe that Professor Gast originally sort of ran off with Ifana in order to find out more without Shinra's intervention. Probably mostly due to Hojo, because Hojo's a fucking psycho. And he most likely wanted to get away from him and Shinra, so they retreated here. The Shinra somehow found them after they fell in love and did the hanky-panky and made Aerith. Professor Gast was murdered by Hojo and his soldiers. And Aerith and Ifana were kidnapped. And then later on, if you recall, Aerith's mother's tearful recounting of events after Aerith was kidnapped and brought to Shinra HQ. She told us all about how she found Ifana dying at the train station with Aerith. That they had escaped from a lab. That would obviously be probably somewhere around 5 years. I think Aerith was 5 at the time. So about 5 years after the recording we just watched, they later escaped from the lab. Ifana was gunned down in the process. Yeah, sad times. Aerith has not had an easy life, and it ended pretty tragically as well. So it's always interesting to find that out, find out more about Aerith's origins as well as Genova's origins. Apparently, we still have much more to learn about Genova, but some of Genova's origins there as well, right after Aerith died. So thank you guys so much for watching. That'll be it for episode 32. Hope to see you guys for the next one next time. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.